Morning class. So today we have Mildred, part of your class, helping me teach the lecture for today. How you doing, Mildred?
I'm doing well. How's everyone doing today?
Good, good. Hey, so I know we've introduced each other on in the introduction, but I feel like it's always good to keep introducing each other since this is an online class. And Mildred, where are you from?
I'm from Willis, Texas.
Awesome, awesome. How long have you been in Lone Star?
I've been at Lone Star for like one semester and during the summer.
Got it, got it. And I want to let the class know she's on the phone, and I put a picture of her so you kind of have an idea. We're still figuring out how to best do these classrooms set up, and I'm thinking we're gonna tweak it a little better. But today, the lesson it's gonna be on. Let me go back here. It's gonna be Objective 21, Part 3, overcoming obstacles to critical thinking, right? And
Right.
Mildred has done a good job to kind of read over ahead of time, so she kind of put in her input. On number one, essential elements, it says avoid egocentric thinking. What do you think, Mildred, about that one?
Yeah, I think you need a good way to avoid it is by keeping an open mind to what other people think, and their ideas. And the best way to avoid it would be just to be aware of it. To be mindful of the other needs of other people.
Got it, got it. It's easy to kind of think your own circle, right? Your own paradigm, right?
Right. You just have to
Yeah,
keep aware of what other people are thinking also.
that's tougher if I feel like you grew up in one area all your life. Have you ever moved around?
No.
No. So
No.
do you feel like that's difficult for you sometimes since you may not see the other angles of other cultures sometimes?
Yeah, it is. But then I turn around and just look at it to where I want to learn about them. I want to know how they do things. It could actually probably help me in the process.
Awesome, awesome. See, the fact that you're aware that already gets you into a new realm. So, number two, be aware of your social conditioning. Here, class social conditioning talks a little bit about accepting your belief, traditions, on who you are. Everyone is raised with some type of culture. The word culture means to grow. It actually comes from the word cultura, which means like a plant growing. So as you grow, you get a little bit of a sense of who you are, your whole being, etc. What do you think? What do you think, Mildred?
Well, I think sometimes it could be a benefit or it could be a drawback, just depending on which way you're looking at it.
Hmm. No, definitely, definitely, and that social conditioning is definitely important in culture altogether because it's good for you. It's good for the culture to have an identity, but also when you have an identity, you kind of not see the other side of a situation.
Right. You're setting yourself up for just seeing your side of it.
Exactly. Number three, identity outliers. What do you think about that one?
To me, that was kind of a hard one to actually to kind of understand at first. It kind of stumped me. I think it's when it's like the extreme good of something or the extreme bad of something. It influences a lot on what your decisions are.
Ah, yeah. No, that's definitely important. Extremism. You hear a lot about extremism everywhere. It's so funny because in Europe, the one thing you don't want to be is an extremist because
Right.
that's not good for them. I believe being extreme in some things is important because it gives you an identity. However, you must know what that is. So some people may be extreme about working out. Some people may be extreme about certain items. But that bias, like it's saying here in your book, it's important to know who it is and what makes you that, right?
Right.
So, but let's keep going here a little bit. Okay, number four, avoid normalization. Okay.
Um, I think that has to do with just being open again and
Hmm.
to new and different ways. Because if you're used to the same old thing over and over again, you can get trapped into that.
Man,
Um,
that's definitely been the theme of this unit. It has been not to settle into one thing or at least be open to
right.
something else. And if you look at this chart here in Figure 3.8, it gives you an idea. Critical thinking on both sides, openness to innovation, curiosity, invention on the blue side, On the red side, evaluation, classifying, reasoning through logic and analysis. But when it meets in the middle, it's description, synthesis, and comparisons. Uh, this is the. I believe this chart is a little bit wrong, by the way. The blue side should be creative. Oh no, it's right. It's right. Creative thinking, and then the red side should be critical thinking, right?
Right.
Which of these sides do you feel like you pull more, Mildred?
I think more of the creative.
Really? Ah.
Yeah, I think so because I try to be more open
Okay.
to different people's opinions.
That is great. That is awesome. So, and you know what? There is that also critical thinking side. And do you know where this is coming from? These two. This is coming from arts and science, by the way. So there are really only two bachelor degrees: Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. It has to do with which side of your brain thinks. You know,
Right.
an art is tough to teach. You don't really teach art. You inspire art. You teach science. You teach a method. Do you see what I mean? So, do you know what really is in between? One of the subjects that's in between those two.
No.
Business. Business is in between.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, because you use both.
Business is the only degree in the university world that you'll see as a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science or both. So it's funny how in business the halfway point has to be there for you to be good at it. So now you know. So
Okay.
all right. So then we'll go to the next one. We finished that one. Thank you so much. And we'll go to give me a second. We'll go to objective 22. On objective 22, we're talking on avoiding deductive reasoning fallacies. Another theme that's been going on in our class, kind of avoiding the assumptions, avoiding whatever you bring in. In decisions, it's easy to bring in your assumptions, and this is exactly what your textbook wants to know. So, number one here is avoiding the slippery slope. What do you think about this one, Mildred?
I think this sort of balance is because there is no reason to believe that one event must automatically follow from another without an argument.
That's so. You know what this been called before? This has been called momentum. Momentum. If one event and another series of drastic event will inevitably follow, you know how easy it is for us to think that, you go outside and your car doesn't start. Do you know how easy it is for you to think that you'll be late to work? And then on top of that, your boss
It's
will
an
be.
automatic.
Yeah, it's automatic. And then on top of that, it goes in your head. Then your boss is gonna be mad at you, and it snowballs into, well, your boss
Right.
is not gonna promote you. You know. And do you know where you see most of this kind of thinking? It's in sports. In sports, coaches tell their players, don't think of the slippery slope. Don't think because one thing is gonna fall into the other. And one of the things I'll tell you is that has always helped me. There's no such thing as a bad day. There's no such thing as a bad day. There's only bad moments. That's all. So when
I think we have to realize there's like different options out there, and
Cool.
it's not just that one thing that can happen.
Exactly. So this is something you could take with class for you, Mildred, for everybody in the classroom. Remember that because it'll help you in life. Period. So be aware of false dilemmas. What do you think about that, Mildred?
Let's see. A false dilemma arises when you allow ourselves to believe we only have two options, which kind of goes back to the slippery slope in a way, because when you only, you don't actually only have two options. There's actually more options out there for you, more than just either or.
Man, that is so deep. You want to know, Mildred, where in life do we feel like we have two options only?
Fair.
In our political system. We believe we're either Republican or Democrats.
Oh, true.
And you know what's so sad is that if we believed we weren't one or the other and we were just a customer going after a good company, like if we thought of them as Walmart and Target, no one wears a Walmart shirt or Target shirt. No one is loyal to one thing. It's just the best service, right?
Right.
Yeah. So when we start to think we're one or the other, be careful because that's when your beliefs will not give you a good idea to make decisions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So okay. So number three is straighten out circular reasoning.
Well, I think circular reasoning is just where like the proposition actually supports the premises, and then you turn around the premises supports the proposition. So it's just a circle. It's not really giving you any useful information.
Okay, it's very true. It's like it says here, logically flawed because the argument does not include independent claims or assertions. It's almost like not knowing the matter at hand.
Right.
And it's funny sometimes because sometimes people do get in arguments, and you know when someone doesn't know their subject, and you know when they do, right?
Yeah, they just keep going around and around the facts. They actually don't give you any facts at all.
It's funny because it's here, figure 310, Quest Italian tours are the most popular. Why? They're better than all the others. Why? Because it goes in a circle. It doesn't go anywhere. It just ends up being no progress, right? So,
Right.
and number four, clear up equivocations. Go ahead. What do you think equivocation is?
Actually, with this one, I really couldn't figure that one out. I was like kind of stumped by it.
So it states here in your book, it goes for fine for public sunbathing. A tourist assumed that it was fine to openly lie out in the sun. Equivocation to me, and I know it's a little difficult, but believe it or not, I'm using my Spanish knowledge on this one. Equivocation translates to equivocación, which for us means a mistake. It's a mistake. If you're unsure of
Okay.
someone else's meaning, be sure to ask. Okay, so let me give you an example, okay?
Okay.
What do you think the word happy is?
Um,
To you, happy means what? What comes up real quickly?
being positive.
Being positive. But to someone else, happy could mean money. Happy could mean love. Happy could mean so many things, right? It's a broad definition, right?
Right.
Equivocation comes in to think that you think your definition is the same, but it's not. So, a good example is the word early alert. Okay, I was told, I have to do an early alert system. I thought early alert meant to tell people on their messages that is, an early alert, right? On the text message.
Right.
It's actually something else. It's about getting an early alert to make sure students don't fail early. So, what I mean is, just because a definition happy may mean that to you, it may actually be something else to someone else. Do you get what I
Someone
mean?
else.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
And in business, these words get used all the time. And even though you're like, whoa, I thought that's what that meant. Let me see if I can come up with another word. And it's a mistake. You take the wrong meaning out of it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
The word coordinator. Coordinator for some people may mean, hey, to coordinate, situations. But it may mean that the coordinator is just coordinating with something else completely. Not the coordination of systems, but coordinator of like a second to a supervisor. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. I just thought of a good one. The word manager. Would you like to be a manager?
Yes.
But how about if you were a manager of a football team? What does that mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's different. That's a different type of manager.
Exactly. The word you took the wrong meaning out of. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's a different type. Got you.
So be careful what you think. What a thing is, because it may mean something different to you. So I'm glad I get.
Yeah.
So
clarifying to what it actually means
exactly.
in that situation.
In that situation, exactly. So just in other words, just do your research to make sure that's what it is, even though it could be assumed. Trust me, the word manager in football, it's gonna be it. I thought in high school that was a high position, and then I started to realize, oh no, it's the guy that's doing the work.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
So on this next one, objective 23, avoiding inductive reasoning fallacies, again, in the same theme. Avoid hasty generalizations, right? What do you think about that
Yeah.
one, Mildred?
I think it's just like, you know, say you go to the store and you're looking for some clothes and you don't find any clothes that you like. Well, your friend's there too, and she doesn't find anything you like that she likes.
Mm-hmm.
So then you would sit and think, well, this store doesn't have any clothes that I like, you know, or that are any good. So just because you don't like anything there doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't like it.
No, that's true. That's true. And I'll tell you, it's tough for us to train ourselves to not generalize. I want to let you know, as your professor, that I believe in generalizations, but educated generalizations. Okay, it's helped me in my business to know that, for example, that you know how you have people that are Mexican clients.
Uh-huh.
There's Mexican clients, and it's helped me to understand that people from Guanajuato like the family atmosphere and the cultural atmosphere of a home than
Definitely.
a Mexico City person that likes the urban atmosphere. You get what I mean?
Right.
It's helped me, like, that's a generalization, but it's educative. I had to look that up. It wasn't that easy, as opposed to thinking, oh, this guy's from Mexico, he's gonna want a ranch. Dude, that's too big of a
Yeah, that's too big.
Exactly. So this I'm gonna go a little bit out of your book, by the way, where I do believe the generalization helps, but hasty ones, the ones that you're too broad on, are probably not gonna help you. All right. So separate cause and effect on this one. Arguments often examine multiple events, occurrences, situations to determine if they are related. The common error is to assume that when two or more events happen at the same time, one causes the other, right? Do you feel like you have a little bit of an example on that one?
Yeah, like say like you put a new additive in your car. You wouldn't want to say put the new additive in your car. You would want to say the new additive to add the new additive to your car makes the car go faster. I mean, because you're saying put the additive in the car, and the reason why is because it would make your car go faster.
Gotcha. So you're putting cause and effect together, but what you're trying to say is that additive, we have to assume that it's an additive that will make your car go fast, but not because it's going fast, that additive automatically was the reason, right?
Right.
And I got to put in a little bit of my doctoral work. I'm a student at a PhD program, and one of the things that we just learned is that word cause. You see that word cause, causation?
Uh-huh.
We cannot, as doctoral students, state that something causes something ever. They told us the way you're gonna do it is the more. Let's say if you were speaking in the additive sense, that's an additive that will make your car go fast. The more additive you put in, the faster the car will be. Do you get that difference?
Right. Yeah, I get the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't say the additive will make the car go faster because that's causation. And then the truth is that there's nothing to prove that. So where do you use this? Remember, this class is to teach you to be a good decision maker. And the last thing you need to do is bring in something and then guarantee it. That's going to happen.
Right, when you can't back it up with facts.
When you can't back it up with facts. Let me tell you something. Hiring an accountant from UT Accounting, it's great. They're one of the best accounting schools, right? But to say that UT Accountant is going to make your company accounting better is a causation. You're just right. You're
yeah, because you can't prove that.
Exactly. But you know what you could say? Hiring the UT accountant will give a better chance that you will have a better accounting department, right?
Right.
So
that's the way you word it.
It's the way you word it, and it's important because that always is the same situation for just about every kind of business. I'll tell you. So look for false causes. The Latin expression post hoc, ergo propter hoc, literally means after this, therefore because of this. It is a fallacy that suggests that because some event, situation, communication precedes another, that the first event must cause the later one. Like A plus B equals C, right?
Right.
Do you have a little bit of an example on this one?
Yeah, kind of more like, I would say, if you say it's dark now, which makes it very dangerous. I mean, the dark doesn't cause the danger. It's what's in the dark.
Man, that's pretty good. That's definitely two. That's very good. Good call on that one. On number four, consider the composition. Composition error happens. You assume the qualities of a part of something are also qualities of the whole. That's exactly what you just stated. Actually, it
Right.
definitely what you stated. You the mind is a very, I want to say the mind is a very quick thinking processor. So it goes towards the errors in what you already have. So you have to slow it down a little bit. Hey, is this really what's happening, right? And you can see in figure 313 the composition, this example of composition error. Please look through it so that way I can help you for it. But let's move on to the next one just because we're a little behind.
Okay.
And last one, becoming a critical thinker. Okay. And I feel like this is my favorite one, by the way. Number one,
Okay.
develop intellectual humility. What does that mean? What does that mean to you, Mildred?
Being aware that I don't know everything, and just knowing the limits of my knowledge, and I think it better helps develop the intellectual humility. That's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
You become humble by being open minded to others. I really stress to myself about being that way.
That's great. That's great. And I gotta add to this, to number one. One of the greatest men in history has been Socrates. The reason why we're even sitting here today speaking is because of Socrates. And there's a legend that says that one time, besides Socrates in the Greek era, the other person, the other supposedly figure that we don't know who he was or who she was the Oracle. And supposedly between those two, it was like a rivalry on intellectual in that era. But I'll tell you, one time the Oracle told everyone that Socrates was the smartest man of all. Then the people went to Socrates and said, "Look, Socrates, the Oracle just admitted that you are the smartest of all." But you know what Socrates said? Do you know what he actually stated right after that?
No. What?
He stated, "This is a test from the Oracle. Had I said yes, she's right, I would have not been the smartest, because the smartest person knows that there can never be a smartest, because at that moment you're not. You become limited. You have to be able to grow." That's what Socrates stated. So that's the number one example of intellectual humility. No one could be at the highest or smartest position because there's no growth. You have to be able to understand that there's things out there you do not understand and you want to grow into it, right?
Right.
So that's awesome. Okay, number two, be a critic or not a cynic.
Okay, I think being a critic is sometimes confused with being a cynic. A critic, you have to be open minded again and ask questions while being respectful of the people's ideals and solutions.
I do agree. I believe a critic will help. Will try to get you to help the situation, right? A cynic is
Right.
just going to be negative against you all the time.
Right.
All the time. So, okay. And number three, challenge your assumptions and beliefs.
I think when doing that, when you're challenging yourself, your assumptions, you need to ask yourself unusual questions about the situation that's going on. Have you ever studied the assumption? Have you ever tested it? Where did the assumption come from?
Exactly.
To know, yeah.
That's pretty good. That's definitely good. It's easy to make an assumption. Again, don't think assumptions are bad. You need assumptions. You know how you need assumptions? Because it keeps you informed in your surroundings still.
But it also helps you grow to where you have an assumption, you can research it to make sure it is an actual fact. It's just that's a good happening.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, the one thing about assumptions is that if your basis of knowledge is good enough, then your assumptions are going to be good. They're going to be better. If your basis of knowledge is not, then your assumptions are going to be off. So you need assumptions. You definitely do. You just need to kind of make your base of knowledge better, right? Work through complex issues and problems.
I think when working through complex issues or problems, you should not readily accept the easiest answer. problem and do it in steps where you don't get overwhelmed with it. And I think that will help you actually work through it better.
Man, I'll tell you, Mildred, I love this class. This is my favorite class to teach. I love selling. I love to take that class and show people how to sell. But this class, I feel like you said, by the way, what you said is exactly what the text has been saying. Take a problem, cut it up in pieces, use strategy, and don't make assumptions. And that had been the whole premise of the class.
Right.
That's been top to bottom, but it's just easier said than done. If you can take this knowledge of this class and take it to your life, you will do better. You will do better. So, and last but not least, have confidence in your reasoning and ability.
I think you just have to trust yourself on your assumptions and knowing the truth about them, allowing yourself to be open-minded. That keeps on coming up to me when I'm reading through this. People be open-minded to ideas and solutions. The more you practice your reasoning, the better it will get.
And confidence shows. Confidence shows in your face. It shows in what you do. You may be one of the best at what you do, but if you have no confidence, it's like you're not. It doesn't help
Right.
the world. So this is great. Thank you so much. With this said, Mildred, you've done a stupendous on this in this co-teaching class that we had together. Do you have any last things to say about it?
Main thing is just to stay open-minded when you do the critical thinking. I think that is like very imperative in order to do that in every step of the critical thinking.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you so much, Mildred. And thank you for this project. That was her project grade, by the way. After this, she's going to kind of put a one-page thing together for me and email it. You have time for that, by the way. You can just do it within this 2 weeks or so. You don't have to rush on that. But
All right, thank you.
again, class, for your project grade, contact me. Mildred did a good job to contact me, and she's going to get credit for that. Contact me as soon as you can. Don't wait till the last time of the semester. If you do wait till the last part of the semester, it's going to be a lot harder. I promise you. So make sure you come up. She's done a good job on this one. I like to set up more of these because it does help. Again, thank you, Mildred, for your time.
Thank you.
You have a good day, okay?
Yes, you do the same.